Hello, I'm Coach Natalie, and welcome to another episode of Jiu Jitsu for Dummies. Now, recently we've been working on moves that are more of an escape nature, not a submission nature. And the reason I teach this is because maybe you don't want to be in a Jiu Jitsu tournament, but maybe you're learning a little bit of Jiu Jitsu for self-defense. And it's always a good idea to know how to get out of a bad situation. So today we're going to learn what I was taught was called the escape from the Hulk Hogan headlock from the ground. And it looks like this. I don't know what kind of school you went to. A lot of kids when they're young go to school where there's schoolyard bullies putting people into a headlock, whether to give them a noogie or hit them in the face. Unfortunately, sometimes that still happens, even when you're an adult, because sometimes bullies just get bigger, but not necessarily more mature. So, Sally here is going to be our schoolyard bully. She's going to be, what I've been told, is kind of a Hulk Hogan headlock. I've just secured her hands together to make a nice loop. She's going to be sitting on her hip, holding my head in a loop. First thing I want to do is frame her face away. Put my hands together in this kind of a structure. Next thing I'm going to do is I want to move my hips out, create some distance between me and her, between framing her neck and hipping out. I can put my leg over and kick. To get to side control. Maybe seen from another direction. She has me in a headlock. I want to frame her head back. I want to shrimp my hips away to create some distance. Now I'm going to put my leg on the side of her head and I'm going to kick forward like this. Now, if they let go of your head, that's great. You'll see that even when they're holding onto your head and you kick them forward, that just has the effect of pulling you upright, which is great. Even if you were to find yourself in a headlock on the ground, that's a good setup for the Von Flu choke, which we've covered in another recent video. In that case, I'm going to be having my head underneath her neck. I'm going to be putting my shoulder into the side of her neck. I'm going to be on my active toes. And basically, her neck will be between my arm and my shoulder, and it's a blood choke. It makes them fall asleep. Again, Sally here is a schoolyard dummy. She has me in a headlock. I'm gonna frame away. I'm gonna shrimp away. And then I'm gonna put my leg over the side of her head and kick forward. Now, there's really only two basic mistakes that people might make. One is the failure to create enough space. As I said, your leg is going to be going on the side of their head, and not surprisingly, it's nice if you can create some space. So one way I can do that is I'm going to take my hands and kind of build a structure on the side of their neck, pushing them away. Second, I'm going to do is I'm going to shrimp my hips back. That's going to create some space between myself and Sally here. The last thing I'm going to do is put my leg over the side of her head, kick forward, and get to the side control. Related to that, just the hesitation to actually kick. Now, this move actually wouldn't really be used in a jiu-jitsu class because there's just too much risk of me getting to the person's back. So obviously, if it's in a self-defense situation, you really, need to defend yourself. Then I certainly wouldn't have any hesitation to kicking them on the side of the head. Now, you might actually need to practice this for it to work well. And in that case, if you're working with a dummy, you don't have to worry about kicking too hard. Obviously, if you're practicing with a real person, then, you want to be gentle. But don't hesitate, if it was a self-defense situation, to kick. Like my teacher would say, it's like kicking through a door. So let's see the whole move again. Sally here is a bully. She has me in a headlock position. I'm gonna frame against her neck. That creates some space. Also gonna be kicking my hips out in a shrimp. Putting my leg on the other side of her head. Kicking. And getting to side control. Thank you. I hope you really enjoy this. It's one of the funner moves that we learn, and it's proof that there's never a position that's too bad that you can't get out of. Certainly, I hope you never find yourself at the bottom of a actual Hulk Hogan headlock, but this is a great move. If you have a dummy, obviously, I hope you'll try it out, or maybe with a friend, but obviously, like I said, be gentle with them. Thank you again for joining me. I have a Natalie Whitson Jiu Jitsu page. Reach out to me, suggest a move. And thank you for joining me for another episode of Jiu Jitsu for Dummies.